Hi guys, my name is Alana. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Mental Health with Alana. If you're new here, please press the red subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and also press the bell notification. I post videos about singing covers and mental health topics. If you want to request a video, please leave it down in the comments down below. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about what happens when you go to the emergency department for your mental health. Now, there are multiple ways that you can go to the emergency department for your mental health. So, you can either be brought by police, you can be brought by ambulance, or you can take yourself. Now, I've only ever had experience with taking myself and being brought by ambulance, so I can't talk on the being brought in by police. But I know a lot of other people have had experiences where they have been brought in by police. So, I have been to the emergency department multiple times for my mental health for different reasons. Basically what happens is, so I'll give you an example of the ambulance situation. So I was taken by ambulance, I was put under a mental health act in a treatment authority, which means I was legally under a treatment plan or authority, and I wasn't. Basically that means you're not allowed to leave. You have to go by ambulance. There is no choice, and you have to stay in emergency, and you have to do whatever the treatment team at the hospital says. Now if you're not under a mental health act, then you have a little bit more freedom. But once you go to the emergency department for your mental health, you're not allowed to leave in most cases, once they've already checked you in. But anyway, I'll go back to the ambulance thing. So, I was taken by ambulance because I had a plan to unalive, and my it was very close to happening, and my psychiatrist found out and rang an ambulance, and basically I got taken by ambulance to the emergency department, and I was put under a mental health act. Now, once I got there, I had to sit there, and I waited about a day and a half with no bed. They don't give you a bed. This is the ridiculous part about going to the emergency department. They're so dehumanizing. I'm not trying to discourage you from going, because unfortunately, sometimes you just have to go, but it's very just kind of clinical and inhumane. So I got taken there, and I was put in the mental health room, which is literally a room with nothing in it except for a chair, 2 chairs. My mum was there, and I sat there without my meds. I didn't get my meds till 10 o'clock at night, and so I couldn't even sleep anyway. Not that I could sleep, because it was literally a chair that they gave me. You don't get a bed. They only give the bed to people with physical health problems, so we can see the stigma there. And I sat there for a day and a half, and and then they didn't even have any food. They reckon they ran out of sandwiches. They managed to go find something for me. Trying to even get a flippin' cup of tea or a drink is just a mission in itself, because the nurses that are working in the emergency department are too busy looking after the people who have physical health conditions, and are so understaffed that they don't have time to be checking on you in the mental health room, to be there was security outside somewhere around the mental health room, but I still ended up harming myself while I was in that room, because there was nobody in there and no one was checking on me, so I was left to my own devices basically. And then my mum came back later and realized what I'd done, and she got really upset. Not really at me. She was upset with the nurses and the people, the security, because they weren't checking in on me every, 15 minutes or whatever it should have been. So, anyway, the next day rolls around. I didn't get any sleep because I was in a chair, and I was upset, I was anxious, I didn't want to be there, I didn't want to go into the acute ward. the mental health psychiatric hospital that was like across the road. But anyway, they did an assessment. So basically what happens is they get a psychiatrist or a doctor. Usually it's a psychiatrist, depending on how serious the situation is. Sometimes I think they just use regular doctors, but I think I've seen psychiatrists usually. So they get a psychiatrist, and then they get a mental health like nurse or like liaison person to come, a mental health worker basically. And they come and they do an assessment on your mental health. So they ask why you're there, what's been going on. They talk about your risk level and they just basically ask you a lot of questions about how you're feeling, what's your mental state like, what you've done prior to getting in there, whether it's been harming or previous like history of unaliving. They basically just ask you a bunch of questions. I can't actually remember what questions they asked me because I was quite distressed by that point and tired and just fed up, and so I don't even know what they asked me. I don't remember really any of the times that I've been to emergency. But anyway, so they asked me these questions, and they deemed that I wasn't safe and that I need to go into the acute psychiatric ward. So then I got transferred about midday over to the psychiatric hospital, which is basically across the road from the general hospital. So in that case, because I was taken by ambulance, they check me in automatically. So now, the second situation, if you're going on your own accord and you're taking yourself to emergency, you have to go through the little emergency waiting room, and you need to go up to the desk and you say your name, your date of birth, you give them your information, and you tell them why you're there. So, if it's, I don't know, like, say it was like schizophrenia reasons, or unaliving, harming, anything like that. I'm trying not to use like specific words on YouTube because they always demonetize it, but I don't want to be triggering either. But anyway, so you tell them just like basically like a basic situation of like why you're there. Now then after that, they will write that information into the computer, and they'll tell you to sit and wait in that room with everyone else. So there could be people in there because they hurt their foot. There could be someone in there because they're psychotic. There could be someone in there because they're at risk of harming themselves. Now, if you've actually done something quite serious to your body, they will take you way quicker. That you don't have to sit there and wait for hours and hours. Now, normally, once you've done that, they take you to triage. So triage is like the mental health room. They put you in that mental health room, and basically you just have to wait, like before with the ambulance. You just have to wait until a psychiatrist and a mental health person becomes available. Now, this can take literally up to like 2 days. It's ridiculous. It's wrong. They shouldn't be making you wait that long in distress, without proper, people checking on you. I've heard multiple stories about people, even in the UK, who this has happened to, where no one was there to check on them, and so they've ended up doing things and their life was put at risk. So this isn't limited just to Australia. I've heard really bad stories from other countries. It sounds like from what I've heard, most other countries seem to have this similar system as to what we have here, which is clearly not working and is clearly messed up. But anyway, you sit there and you wait, and then they take you to triage, and then you've got to sit there and wait for a psychiatrist and the mental health person to come and do an assessment. So they do a psychiatric assessment. Now, you could be waiting up to like 9 hours or more. I have waited up to 9 hours one time with the ambulance situation. I waited a day and a half. I didn't wait a day and a half. They did the assessment, but I waited a day and a half to be transferred to the hospital because they didn't have any beds available. Anyway, so with taking yourself, you usually can't leave. Once you're there, you're usually 9 times out of 10 not allowed to actually leave. So if you go there and then you change your mind and you say, oh no, I don't actually want to be there, you're not allowed to leave. If you do leave, the police will basically go and bring you back. Or security will get you before you even get to leave. So it's quite intimidating because you've got these huge, big security guards everywhere. You've got people who have physical illnesses, there as well, and people who are physically very unwell, waiting to be seen for their physical health. So, it's kind of a stressful situation. So then once the mental health treatment team comes and sees you, they do the assessment, and then they will decide whether they're going to send you home with supports, and usually the supports are pretty crap. And they're just going to, discharge you back into the community and let your community care team look after you and take over. Or they will decide that you are too much of a risk and they will put you in the psychiatric hospital. So that's basically what happens. There's not really much else that goes on. That's about it. It sounds like a simple process, and it should be, but the point is that they make you wait ridiculous hours. They don't give you a bed. Unless you've done something like really, like that requires physical treatment, you don't get a bed. You just get a chair. Like I said, no one checks on you. Trying to get food is like even hard. My mom kept going out of the room trying to get food for me, and like the nurses were just so busy, they just didn't even have time. Like my mom couldn't even get their attention to even ask and say like, hey, like she needs food. And to say that they've run out of food is a complete lie, because they would have food for all times of night, because if people come in with physical illnesses, surely they're giving them food during the night if they've come in at like 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever. So I feel like there is a massive stigma for people who are coming into the general hospital and emergency departments for mental health reasons, and there needs to be major changes. There needs to be people checking on you to make sure you're safe, a bed provided, food, water, basic things. Honestly, they're basic needs. I couldn't even go to the toilet on my own unless my mum was there, because the nurses were too busy. So I'm not trying to make this video to deter you from going, because if you are really unwell, you need to go, or if you've harmed yourself in a significant way, you need to go. And you get told by health professionals all the time to go, but unfortunately that the system is so broken and the system is so messed up that it isn't providing proper care for people, and things are slipping through the cracks, and there needs to be major improvements. From the job that I do, I know that there are improvements slowly being made, but they're very tiny steps, and they're really nothing that great, unfortunately. I think it's going to be a long road to get to where we can have a proper, well-working emergency department that is for mental health, and that provides people with the proper treatment and humanity and care. Because you shouldn't be treated like a criminal because you're mentally ill. And you should be treated with care and respect and dignity, just like anyone else there who's there for a physical illness. So that's basically what happens when you go to the emergency department. I hope that this was informing, but I also don't want to scare you off, because you might go and you might have a really positive experience. This is just coming from my experiences. I can't speak on anyone else's behalf. This is just my life experience from the times that I've been, and I've been quite a few times to emergency over the years. And this is just what I have to say about my experience. So some people may have had better experiences. I don't know, but that's just my experience, and I wanted to make this video just to share, in case people are wondering, just so that just so you don't get a massive shock and be like, what the heck is going on? So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you found something, hopefully, I hope you don't relate to it, but if you do relate, then, I totally understand. I have so much sympathy for you, but, I hope this didn't deter you from getting help, because getting help may save your life, and it's really important that you recognize that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. I love you all, and I'll see you in my next video.